Hey guys, today I'm going to be reacting to a video called Building a House Part 4 Windows Electrical Installation House Construction Documentaries German Technology. So I don't really know anything about how to build a house, and I've seen some videos before and it's been quite enlightening. I think I've learned a little bit, not enough to call myself an expert or anything, but I think I got the idea of it. I think just a little bit. I think there's usually you have to have 4 walls obviously, and they build the thing brick by brick, but there's also a lot of things in when it comes to insulation, and also the finishing touches of how the house is gonna look like from the outside. But I'm constantly when I was watching those videos, I was thinking okay, so how do you actually do the whole electrical thing? I'm very curious to find out, so let's check it out.
What's next for the solid house construction? The shell has now been completed. In the first part, earthworks and floor slabs were carried out.
Oh, you have to have a platform as well.
In part 2, the masonry, and in part 3, the roof. Now the first interior work continues: windows and the electrical installation.
It's crazy to me that it's and at this stage they're doing the electrical part. I would think you have to do it before the roof, but obviously I don't know anything. That's the window?
The window frame must first be prepared for window installation. First step, put the window connection tape.
What is that?
The sealing tape ensures that the window frames are airtight with the masonry and that no water penetrates from the outside to the inside.
Okay, so this is special tape.
A decompression sealing tape is placed on the outside of the window frame.
Okay,
the tape expands after assembly and closes the spaces between the window frame and the masonry.
What? Should I put it from the outside? Okay, no, obviously no, that's silly.
The window frame is aligned with spacers. Everything has to be exactly in balance, otherwise malfunctions could occur. Windows close unintentionally, jam, or do not close properly.
Okay, so a lot of them are.
The distance to the edge of the wall must also be correct. After all windows should be in alignment, and the window sills must also fit.
Makes sense.
If everything is correct, the screw holes are made and the frame is screwed to the masonry.
Those are pretty long nails.
Now, hang in the casement and screw on the handle.
That's the easy
part. Once this is done, it continues on the outside.
Oh, do you have to do some stuff?
Another sealing tape.
Is that glue? Like a head gun?
The water slots through which condensate runs out of the window are fitted with caps. Looks better, and the water drainage works even on windy days.
Oh.
Meanwhile, inside, the fitter ensures that the windows are sealed.
Okay,
all gaps are filled with assembly foam, and the sealing tapes are glued with permanently elastic adhesive.
Okay, never heard of those materials in my life.
In this way, tightness is maintained even when there is moving in the masonry.
Like an earthquake, I can presume.
The windows have high thermal insulation and high sound insulation, guaranteed by 6-chamber profiles and triple glazing. A roller shutter belongs to every window. Here is the electrical version. Does the blind run and close properly? The fitters can test this with a mobile control device. Everything is great.
That's incredible.
Now only the window sills are missing. The construction company has a large selection of window sills. The builders chose natural stone Jura marble.
What's marble?
Outside, however, gray granite. To ensure that the water can run off, the windowsill is not placed exactly horizontally on the outside, but slightly sloping at an angle of 5 degrees.
Why?
The first window is finished. Only 14 more are missing.
Oh my god,
Another
okay.
2 on the right, 5 on the front, 2 on the left,
There's so many windows.
and 5 on the back.
I mean, obviously, like in life, but you never think of
The
those
installation is always the same and runs exactly like the first window.
things. Okay, oh, they have different shapes. I wonder how long it takes them to actually
After
do
2
this.
days, all windows are installed.
Yeah, I was thinking a long time. Not that 2 days is long, but...
This went quickly and also pleased the client.
Ich bin wirklich froh, dass es schon so weit ist.
I am glad that it is already so far. We also love the windows. Also that we let them foil. In principle they are white by default. But you have the option to choose a different color, and mostly it is grayscale from light to dark or brown. There is also wood decor. So a lot is possible here. But of course taste is individual. We chose this color. Set an accent and we like that very much.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
Ja, Akzent gesetzt und das gefällt uns sehr gut.
The front door is also
Oh, that's the front
inside,
door.
albeit with makeshift filling. But the house is now even lockable.
Oh.
Ja, man gewöhnt sich
Not that
immer
there's
You
anything in
get
it.
more and more used to the fact that it's our house.
quasi.
You get a key now. The little piece of reality that you hold in
Yeah,
your
it's like a
hands.
tangible thing.
You already feel comfortable in your home. So, home, I mean. But you feel like it's there. The goal is getting closer and closer.
Greifbar näher.
Next phase, the electrical installation. The builders can contribute their individual wishes to the electrical installation. Therefore, there is a detailed discussion with the master electrician before the installation.
Okay, yeah,
where
you have to tell
exactly
them.
should which connections
Yeah.
go.
Für Wohnen und Essen.
Correct.
For living and dining, 2 lamps where you want to have placed them.
Living would be here and eating in the kitchen. The dining table would be there, so a lamp would be omitted here. So only one lamp
Oh.
above, in the middle.
In the middle of the room.
Yes,
There is a
That,
lot
like,
to consider
lumps
and
already.
clarify when it comes to electrical planning. How many
Yeah.
sockets do you need per room, and
I
where
thought it was- that
exactly
was the
should they
thing,
be
the number one
placed?
thing.
Should the light be switched from different places? And much more.
Wollen Sie
Should
noch
there
mal
be a
This is so
switch here?
overwhelming.
If you go out to the terrace, you can turn off the light, or when you come in at night, to turn them on again.
yes.
The electrician notes
This is
everything in the floor plan and also marks the approximate position for switches and sockets on the walls.
Okay,
On to
just
the
like
next
that.
room. Until everyone is through. The whole meeting lasted more than 3 hours.
I can, yeah, I
Important,
bet.
as a builder, you should think carefully about what you want.
Yes.
I can really recommend everyone who is planning to build a house, sit down beforehand, make drawings room by room, pack your ideas in and then start talking.
Yeah.
Then you are best prepared and you can always go into detail.
The planning is now being implemented. It starts in the bedroom upstairs. First, draw the position of the flush-mounted boxes and cable slots.
Okay.
According to the electrical planning, here in the bedroom, right next to the door, there is a thermostat switch for controlling the heating,
Oh my God, yeah, I
a
forgot
roller
about-
blind
yeah.
switch, a light switch and a socket.
Okay, there's so many things.
So there must be 4 recesses in the wall.
Oh, they have to...
Electrical installation
Really?
means flush-mounted boxes and cables. The rest, switches and socket inserts, come after the plastering. The electrician is now laying the cable duct with the wall milling machine. Two saw blades attached parallel to each other cut slots approximately 2 centimeters deep into the masonry.
Oh, okay. This is like a scary situation.
The rest in between, just hammer out.
Yeah, you have to like break down the thing. I wouldn't want to break anything. I don't know. You have to, but it's like
get a hole for the ceiling lamp cable and the cable duct is ready. The electrician can now set the flush-mounted boxes. First of all, only as a test whether they also fit.
They're smaller.
He needs plaster to fix it.
Oh, plaster.
The switches, sockets and thermostat inserts are standardized and all fit in the same flush-mounted boxes. Very convenient.
So is it standard for just like building in general?
At the end, check the alignment. Otherwise the switches will hang crooked later. Everything is great. The boxes are in place. The plaster must harden for about an hour. Now it's time to pull the cables. The electrician starts the line for the skylight.
Why is it doing
Ceiling
that?
lamp is switched in the classic way with a switch next to the door. So the cable must be in the flush-mounted box for the light switch. The standard cable for domestic installation is the so-called NIM J3x1.5 cable, a 3-core cable with a cable cross-section of 1.5 square millimeters each, typical for lamps, sockets, etc. However, stronger consumers such as washing machines or electric cookers need thicker cables. The next cable connects the light switch and socket. And the cable for the socket runs out of the room, towards the distribution box. The electricity comes into the room via this cable, showing the complete electrical wiring would go far beyond the scope here. Basically, the house installation works as follows and is the same for every room. The distribution box is the heart of the electrical installation. Here the electricity is provided for the entire house. The electricity comes from the distribution box into the room via a supply line. From the first electrical consumer, here the socket, the electricity is passed on to the next consumer, the ceiling light. Here, however, the light switch is still in between. The sockets are also connected cable by cable, until all consumers are connected to the circuit. One circuit per room means one line per room from the distribution box. Special cases are strong consumers such as a washing machine get their own circuit. Back to the raw installation. The electrician works his way to the next wall. The cables are simply laid on the floor and later disappear in the screed.
Yeah, where is he putting them?
Or here double socket to socket. It continues at the door. Thermostat switch wiring. The thermostat switch regulates the valve position in the heating circuit distributor for the respective room. A 5-core cable is required for the incoming and outgoing signals. The NIM J5X1.5 is used. Again, a 1.5 square millimeters cable cross-section per wire. The cable also runs out of the room, towards the hallway, where the heating circuit distributor will be later. The cable is labeled so that the fitter can see through it later. RT, room thermostat. Sleeping room.
Oh my god.
The blind switch wiring is still missing. Special feature here, the building owners have also opted for a central control system for all roller blinds per floor. The switch for this is in the hallway. Therefore a cable comes towards the hallway. A second then goes to the roller shutter. With such an installation, each window has its own blind switch in the room as usual. In
As it should
addition,
be.
there is the central switch that sends an up or down command to all blind switches at the same time.
I think
Fix
that's the
the
best.
cables with clips and then the part is finished.
This was insane.
This is how it continues in all rooms,
Oh my
hallway,
God, it's gonna take them forever.
children's room, bathroom. A lid was placed on the flush-mounted boxes, that no plaster runs in. It is interesting to mention that there are multimedia sockets in all living rooms. Antenna signals, radio and television, as well as internet and telephone can be transmitted via the green double cable.
Okay, but
All
what radio?
cables are also laid on the ground floor, living room, guest toilet, and kitchen with many extra circuits for
Oh
oven,
my God, yeah, imagine the
dishwasher, electric stove,
There's so
and
many things
oven.
you need.
In total, more than 1 kilometer of cables were laid in the house and almost
crazy.
200 flush boxes were installed. Construction time raw electrical installation, 1 week.
Well, it's faster than I thought, actually. Okay, so this was crazy in a good way, but it was, I feel like I've learned a lot, but it's much more complicated than I thought initially. Not that I think that building a house is easy, but I think this one was extremely complicated. I don't know if it's because I'm dumb and, or, you know, I don't really have any prior knowledge of like how electrical things work, so maybe that's just it, but I found this incredibly complicated. And it's like, okay, from what my understanding is, like, you need, because I don't really know, like, they explained it, I think they made a good job at explaining it, but again, I don't think I understand it like properly, because it's like, okay, I think I understand, like, there's like the cables and stuff, and you have to like put it, and obviously each thing, like each cable, it's sort of like, it's for something. It's like, this is for the lights, this is if you want a TV, this is for internet, this is for different things. But like, I don't understand how it works. Like, how do you make it like turn on? How do the things work? Because it's like, it's just a cable that is just like sort of like there. He just like has a cable, a wire, and he's just like putting it there. And it's like, okay, but how do you make it work? But I think from what like the layout mentioned, is like, yeah, you have to like do all of this, and then like those individual sort of like cables, they have to run towards, I think, probably the basement. It's probably like the where you probably want this sort of like the box thing, the electrical box, like a breaker box or something, where you have like all these electrical parts, and where you like, usually when there's like an electrical problem in the house, I think that's where you should go, like, because it's like a little box, and then, you know, like, it's like that. So I think from my understanding is that all those cables go there, but you have to like, I'm wondering like how, again, it's like, it's over 1 kilometer, and it makes sense because it's like, okay, so you really do have to like, all those cables have to run towards like in the second floor, third floor, they have to like run over to the basement if that's where the thing is. Like, that seems like crazy to me. But I mean, that's apparently how it's done, but it's like, okay, so maybe something that I'm not understanding, but I think it's just like, isn't it like, I don't know, like, shouldn't you have like several boxes, like maybe in each floor? Because it's like, you like, there's less wires, less cables, and it's like, it's more like, and because again, the thing in the breaker box or the electrical box, whatever it's called, that's like thing where the electricity comes in, and that's what you needed. But I don't really know how that thing works either, so it's like a little nebulous in my mind. It's like, okay, from my understanding, it's like that's where like you turn it on and then everything has power. But it's like, okay, and how do they work? Like, you just like put the cable in, and you like grab the other one, and then you do the whole thing, the connection thingy, and that's it. I have no idea. But again, it's like, because I know that houses have like one of those boxes, but it didn't occur to me ever to think that all the electricity in a house comes from there, and they have to do it by cables. And it's like, okay, there's like so much cable and so much like wires running in your house, like you have no idea. I think I found that super insane to me for some reason, because it's like, I know you're spending like a lot of like resources, well, cables, but maybe that's just like the way it goes. They haven't found a way to make it like more practical. I don't know, because I'm trying to think of like, well, what else could it be? Well, I have no idea because I'm not an electrician or a builder or an architect or an engineer or anything. So it's like, how are they going to do it? Obviously, you have to like physically put the thing. It's not like Bluetooth. It's like, oh yeah, it's electricity. No, you have to like physically, like the things have to be touching. So again, I find it quite surprising. That's like, okay, so you have like so many things. Like, so how many cables are running in a random house? Like, there's so many of them, because it's like, when you think about it, it's like, I was thinking, oh, it's just lights, but it's like, no, you know, when you're, and you know, it's good that obviously the owner of the house, like they got together and they had a meeting, and it's like, oh, of course. But at the beginning, I was like, well, so you say, well, yeah, one a light fixture here and maybe like some lights here. But it's like, no, of course you're going to need, a house needs more than lights. It's like, it's electricity. So you're going to want, like, imagine like, again, a kitchen. Like, you have so many electrical equipment in a kitchen. You have like the oven, the microwave, the, I don't know, like the pressure cooker or rice maker. I don't know. You have like so many things. And that's obviously without taking into account, obviously, like the laundry room, you're going to have a washing machine. You're going to have the dryer. And also in other places in your house, maybe in the living room or in the rooms, you're obviously going to have like a TV. There's internet. There's like so many things. It's like, oh my God. Oh, and the thermostat. It's like, okay, there's so many things. And also like the shutters. It's like, oh my God, there's so many things. So it's like, I like the fact that you really do have to, you know, the owner of the house, the one's going to be living there, has to really like think about this through. But it's like, yeah, obviously you have to think about a lot of things. It's like, they last you 3 hours, over 3 hours. It's like, yes, because you have to go in each individual room and be like, yes, I want this, I want that, I want that. And it sounds, it's crazy. It's like, it tells me, obviously you have to like lay out plans for your house. But it's crazy to think that, you know, in my mind, it's like, oh, well, yeah, I'm building like the shell. It's like, yes, you know, want to have like 2 rooms and a bathroom like here. And that's, you know, you have to lay out. But it's like, yeah, but you also have to think about, again, the electricity. And you have to think about, where do you want the light fixtures? And again, where's the good, if you want a TV, where's that going to be? If the internet thingy, you know, like, I don't know, your again, I don't know how it works, but the thing that gives internet to your house, like, where is it going to be located? It's like so many things that is like, okay, you really have to think this through. And it's like, okay, you have to plan this as well. It's not just the house, as in like, I want 2 bedrooms and, you know, an ensuite. It's like, no, you also have to think about this part, that it had never occurred to me for some reason. Because it's like, when you're thinking about your oh, I'm building a house, and you're like, oh, or you're thinking about my dream house, you're just like, oh, well, I want, in my ideal house, you would have a kitchen like this and this and that. But you're not thinking about these practical things that you obviously need. So it's like, oh, of course, you also need these kind of things. And you need to be prepared, obviously, because the electrician's going to come and say like, hey, what do you want me to do? And I don't know why I thought it was just like, I know, standard, and you couldn't really change those things. And it was like, the guy knows, like, yes, I'm going to have to have like a light here. But even the fact that it's like, you have to also be like, you have to know, do you want it, like, you want a light switch here? Like, is that light switch, where is it going to go? Like, is it going to turn off like this light from the outside? Like, there's so many things to think about that is like, oh my God, it's like, okay, give me a moment. I can't even imagine how long it takes them, you know, for the owners of the house to actually plan this, because you really do have to think this through and be like, okay, what do we want? Like, how does life look like, and what do we need? It's like, yeah, it looks hard, actually. And also, obviously, the electrician, like, they showed only one guy, but I'm hoping there's like several electricians, because like, it took them a week. And it's like, okay, that's insane to me, because it's quicker than I thought. Because when you have to like take into account like the great number of things that they're doing, and it's like, oh my God, a week just seems like a really, like, it's not that long. I would expect them for this to take like 3 weeks, because it's a hard job. And also, again, I'm hoping this is not one person, like they showed this as an example, or maybe he's like the master electrician and there's other electricians that work with him, because it looks like a very tough job, and not just in like, I don't know, it looks kind of, it's a methodical job, not that the others aren't. But I think when it comes to like masonry and actually like building the thing and building the house, I don't know, it looks easier for some reason. Maybe it's just because it's like you're playing like sort of like Legos, and it's like you have to put this and this. Obviously, you have to measure things, and obviously they're pretty knowledgeable about this. Obviously, it's their job. But with electricity, it's like, I don't know, it's I think it's an extra layer of expertise, because you don't only, you have to know like how to handle, you know, those cables, those wires, and also like in addition to the thing of like, you know how to like drill the thing and where does it go. I don't know, it's crazy, and I had no idea that electricians were, I know that this was their job. It's like, okay, that's insane to me. But it's very good. And also I'm wondering, like, what happens if you have an electrical problem in your house and you need to get it, you need to get it fixed. It's like, do they have to like break down the wall and, I don't know, fix you know, the cables? And because I'm guessing like they get, at some point in life, in, you know, throughout the years, they're gonna get damaged, because I don't know, like, it's just the nature of things. So what happens when that occurs? It's gonna be a nightmare figuring out like what's the problem. Because again, do you have to like break down the walls, or do they have like some sort of, I don't know, machine that scans it and tells you like, oh, you know, the problem's here? But again, still, you need to like break down the thing. I don't know why I thought that when you had an electrical problem, you just like unscrew like the outlet and it's like the wires are hanging and then you like fix it. I don't know why I thought it was like that, but, or maybe sometimes it's like that. But if you have like a bigger problem, do you have to like break down the walls? I don't know. It never occurred to me. I'm thinking about a lot of things. And also the windows, it's fun that, oh, okay, like the windows are already like sort of pre-cut, they're pre-made. And you just sort of like place them there. Obviously they need to have the measures. And I'm thinking, obviously you also like do that beforehand. You say like, yes, you know, I want a window like this and that. And then they build it and they pre-cut it if you want, because they didn't really set, I think it was maybe wood. Like I know that the window sill was stone, but the windows itself, I think maybe they were wood. I have no idea. But I'm wondering if you also get to choose like the materials. Maybe you're like, no, I don't want wood. I want, I don't know, like some other material, metal, some sort of metal, I don't know. And you also get to choose that. And they obviously have to like, they need to have the measures. And you're like, yeah, I want an horizontal window here, and maybe I want a vertical window here, and all of that. And then just like they made it for you, they make it, and then they like send it over, and then they put it. It was like, it's funny because it's like gluing things on, and at one point they sort of had like a glue gun, and he's like, oh, that looks fun. But obviously they have to, because it's not, I know it's not a glue gun, but it's like, yeah, they have to something like that, and then you have to like fill the thing. I don't know, it looked fun, but also took longer than I was expecting. I don't know why I thought it was gonna be easier, and they just maybe like drilled it. It was like, well, yeah, you just drilled like the window, but it's not, they glue it on and then they drill it. It's like, okay. And it also has like different sort of insulation to protect, I think, from humidity, and it's like, okay, you know, it's the whole thing. But I find it very interesting, and also quite hard, actually. You know, and again, electricity, it remains a mystery to me. But that was it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.